What up?
All right, we'll go ahead and get started here with Shane.
What's up?
I can hear you.
Hey, Devin, nice to see you. Congrats on the extension this summer. Just kind of want to get your read on Coach was just saying how like the point guard discussion might be. In general, it seems like that's overblown with the Suns. But from your perspective, do you enjoy dictating possessions as that lead ball handler, and how do you view that chemistry is going to be with Jalen?
I do. I enjoy it. I think it starts with both of us with the ability to score. And once you become a threat in that regard, it's going to open up easier opportunities for everybody else. But I think overall, playing with a faster pace and getting up the court and what we call kick-aheads or skips, it doesn't really matter.
Go to Dwayne.
Is it on? Okay, it's on. Sorry. First, congrats on the extension as well. Curious in terms of two things. One, when you look at your role now and being, taking on more of a leadership duty, because you talked about last year, felt like you could have been more vocal, more imposing. How much are you implementing that now? And then when you just look back at how things didn't go last year with the team, what do you reflect upon in that regard?
What was the first question again? My voice, yeah. The leadership aspect is going to be more important than ever this year. Just realizing our roster, the age of our roster, and just the experience that I've had and what I've seen. So I'm going to do what I can. I'm always going to use my voice. I feel like I used my voice a lot last year too, but we just fell short. It wasn't as connected as we wanted to be. I don't think anybody had problems with each other off the court. We just simply weren't connected enough.
Go to David Brent.
Hey, Devin, over here. I know you have all the respect in the world for Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal, but kind of going off that leadership question, is it easier to impose your will, impose your direction now that you're really the unquestioned leader of the franchise again?
I mean, we'll see. I'm going to use my voice always. If I say something, if I feel something is going to be beneficial for the team, and especially with this team now for the growth of any young player, and I've been around these guys a lot. They're already hitting me with the right questions. But yeah, it was tough. I think just not getting to where we wanted to with Kevin and Brad, two guys that I have a high respect for and always will. The opportunity to play alongside them was, a lot in its own, but, it'll always be a disappointment to me to, not do what, we all sought out to do.
Go to Brendan Clean next.
Hey, Book. How much of this season for you is going to be about sort of reminding people what you can be as a player and what this franchise can be, given how the last few years have gone?
I mean, I'm trying to keep it in-house, man. We're trying to just stack days. We understand we're a young team, but we're going to make some mistakes. But I think the quicker we minimize those mistakes and making the same mistakes, we'll let our full potential be what it can be with the talent that we have, with the youth that we have.
Up here to Espo.
Devin, 10 years ago, you walk in this building and you have guys like Tyson Chandler, PJ Tucker, that kind of help walk you through things. Now you're going to be that guy for some of these younger guys. What did you learn from them that you can apply as you take on that role with some of these younger guys?
I'd say just being a professional, no matter what's going on, and obviously those early years weren't the prettiest either. Just still sticking with it. Not getting caught up in whatever it is, if it's media, if it's whatever's going on in the locker room, you just have to continue to get better. And there was a lot going on early in my career, but, I was able to keep the main thing, keep it tunnel vision and, continue to work. And although we didn't get it done in 21, I was able to see it go from the bottom to, almost the top. And, it wasn't easy, but just understanding that it's an everyday grind and it starts right now.
Go to the right to Kellen.
Book, what's up? Kellen Olson, Arizona Sports. Good to see you. We've asked you dozens of versions of this question in the past, but for you to re-up here through several different eras and a player of your stature, it's not particularly common for a guy to stick around, whether it's because Phoenix is home now or the trust that you have in BG and Matt for this era, just on your decision to stay here in an era where we see guys moving around all the time.
Yeah, guys moving around all the time and teams moving guys around, so it's a partnership and, it's a trust. And Matt came in and understood the importance of how I felt about the city and how the city feels about me. But like I just said, man, from being at the bottom and, almost getting the job done, I have unfinished business here and I know how much it would mean to this city and this organization. So, that's my job. As a leader, it's my responsibility of being a franchise player that, I have to communicate to everybody, the importance of basketball in this town and, how serious we take it.
Stay on the right with Lena.
Hey, Buck, over here behind Kellen. Lena Washington, 12 News. Good to see you again.
You too.
There are a lot of unknowns for fans surrounding this team. From the inside, what can you tell fans in terms of what to expect? You mentioned making mistakes. And just what do you see this team doing this year with this group under a new coach in Jordan?
Yeah, I don't have a better gauge starting tomorrow when training camp starts. Right now we've gotten together a few times over the summer and, these past few weeks have been great too, with everybody being in market and us being able to play 2 to 3 times a week and scrimmage against each other. But, the coaches haven't put anything on us as far as implementing schemes or anything. So right now, it's just high energy. It's a lot of competition. Nobody likes to lose. We found out in that gym. So that's a good base layer to start at, just competing at a high level. And then just the youth, you can feel it in the locker room, a lot of laughs, a lot of jokes, but, being able to turn it on when it's time to turn it on.
Go front right to Dana.
Hey, Devin.
What's up?
It's good to see you. Congratulations on the extension.
Thank you.
When you look at the West and all the predictions, I know you said just a couple minutes ago about how you don't really tune in too much to the media hype and everything. How much does that motivate you when you see the Suns not as on the high prediction list for the rankings and such going into this season? Does that motivate you, or do you just basically look at trying to play out the process and developing this team?
I honestly didn't see it or what you're talking about, but yeah, that is the main goal. We know the expectations aren't high. They're going to say, we're a young team and, it's the perfect seat to be in. We just keep it in-house. We'll continue to grow, understand, how much my voice, amongst the younger team that we have now matters, so it's my job to handle that.
Go over here to Doug.
Hi, Doug Haller at The Athletic. If I'm not mistaken, you met with Jordan Ott when he came out here for his interview. Mm-hmm. What was that meeting like, and what was it that impressed you about him?
It was quick. It was probably, 20 minutes before they, did their real meeting. But we just, we broke bread a little bit, showed me some film, and, I was just as impressed with, the way he sees the game evolving and the game changing and understanding that, something that might have worked 2 years before could be totally different now. So the ability to do that is not just watching your team or who you're playing against, but looking around the league and, seeing the nuances and details that teams are using to be successful. Because there's a few recipes out there. There's not only one, but, knowing what they are is step one.
Go final question here with Hayden.
Is this thing on? There we go. Book Hayden Silva, Clutch Points. Nice to see you again.
You too.
I know last year you talked about how impactful Ryan and Oso were as rookies. How do you feel about this rookie class and sort of what they've been able to bring so far?
A lot of potential. Oso and Ryan are still rookies too until game one. I've told them that. But yeah, everybody's just willingness to learn. Like I said, asking the right questions, but the competition level is is across the gym, and that's the most important part to me at this stage. And it's been fun being around them. I'm not gonna say they're keeping me young. I'm still young too, but you feel it. You definitely feel the energy, and it's contagious.
All right, thanks, Book.
Yep, appreciate it. Yep.